Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys watching the video and making some time for it. Know that there's just getting to be so many dang YouTube bass fishing channels out there. It's hard to keep up with all of them, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in here to my channel there. Much appreciated. Guys, today we're going to talk about everything that you need to know about swim baits. We're going to go over the most popular sizes, everywhere between like a little 2-inch swim bait all the way up to maybe like a 6-inch swim bait. We got 2, 2.5 inch, 3, 3.5 inch, 4.5 inch, 5.5, 6-inch swim baits. Each one of them has a certain set of conditions that they excel in, and you really need to have a bunch of different sizes to match those conditions based upon different times of the year and different lake conditions and different species of bass you're fishing for. So this is going to be good foundational tips for that. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody out there, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message. We still got about 2 months of really good jerkbait lessons in store there. If you guys are interested in going out with me, just shoot me a message there. So much appreciated. Okay, guys, I have got 6 swim baits laid out here, different sizes, different profiles. And these are the ones, my favorites. I'm just gonna go through them and sort of give you guys an overview about when I like to use them and how I like to fish them. And also, guys, I'll link every one of these in my description of my video. So if you guys are interested in purchasing any of these swim baits here, you can use my Tackle Warehouse link. All you have to do, right below the video, you'll see a little thing that says more. Click on that. It'll take you to the links for the swim baits there, and you can pick some up if you're interested there. Okay, I'm gonna start with the small ones, guys, and we'll work our way up to the bigger ones here. So let's first of all, let's start with the smallest one that I have. This is the little Finesse Mega Bass Hazendong Shad. Now this is you've heard me talk about this one before. I really like this bait. This is a really thin profile little shad here. Looks just like a little minnow. Truly a finesse swim bait. And there's 2 different ways that I'll fish this thing. Most of the time, I'm using it on like a light jig head, like that Mega Bass Okashira 1/8 ounce head, or I will drop shot this thing. I'll put just a nose hook on the end of it. It's a really good drop shot bait. But my favorite way to fish it is on that Okashira head, usually on 4 to 6 pound test line. It's really good for really clear water, especially if you got a lot of spotted bass. This is the one that really excels. I use this primarily in a suspended bass situation. So fishing around points for suspended bass, bridge piers, or along the side of docks, that type of stuff. Really good little swim bait for that. Now the next size, there are smaller swim baits too, but they're a little bit larger profile. This is a little 2.4 inch Kitech. This is a really popular size swim bait here. This is a fish catching bait, and it catches good fish too, because even though it's shorter like this, it's got a fairly large profile. It's got some mass and bulk to it like this. Nice little rib swim bait. It's got some good action. Most of the time I'm working this on either a core tackle hover rig head or again the Mega Bass Okashira head. And I use this in the same situations. It's for suspended bass. Also the little 2.5 inch size like this, it's good just for casting down the bank. But most of the time, again, it's very similar to the Hazendong Shad. I'm fishing it for suspended bass anywhere I find those. And the difference between using the Hazendong Shad and like the Kitech, the larger size here, usually like if it's a little bit lower light conditions or maybe it's windy or the water's have a little bit more off colored, I'll go to the bigger size. And another one guys use, this is a very similar situation, is the Mega Bass 3-inch Spark Shad here. This is the 3-inch Spark Shad and the little 2.5 inch Kitech. I use these hand in hand a lot. I'll just sort of rotate them up. They're both about the same size, about the same profile. So really they both work in the same situations for suspended bass, clear water. And a lot of times I'll just experiment to see which one they want over another one, because each one of these comes in some different color variations, and sometimes the subtle color variations make a huge difference. And like I said, I'll have all these in the Tackle Warehouse link in the description, different sizes here. So that's my finesse size. Now moving up, the other 3, these are a little bit larger swim baits. The next one is a 3.5 inch. This is the Zoom Z Swim here. This one out here, guys, is probably the most popular style of swim bait, and has been for like 10 years. This is an extremely versatile bait. You can use it on an Alabama rig, as you can the smaller ones too. Alabama rig, you can use it on a jig head. I like to fish at Texas rig, flip and pitch it around. It's pretty versatile. But for the most part, this is the bread and butter traditional swim bait with a jig head. A lot of people use this setup on like a 1/4 ounce, 3/16 1/4 ounce ball head jig on there, and fishing it both along the bottom and for suspended fish, and just covering water with it. It's just a good all-around bait to catch a lot of fish on in a lot of different situations out there. Now the two largest sizes I got here, guys, I've got a 4.5 inch Kitech. This is the larger, rib swim bait. And then I've got the Zoom Swimmer. Both of these are larger swim baits. The only difference you have is the swimmer looks more like a regular bait fish. It's got the profile of it. It's got a pretty big wagging tail, and the 4.5 inch Kitech here, a little bit smaller tail, ribbed body, just a different profile here. Both of these guys, the 4.5 and the 6 inch size, this is what I use when I'm fishing deeper water. Those are going to be relegated to like fishing drop-offs, ledges, deep points, primarily in the summer months. The larger swim bait to me does not work that good in the cooler weather months like the winter time or fall. I catch most of my fish on those big swim baits, putting them on like a 1/2 ounce head and fishing them on hard structure places like those river channel drop-offs, deeper points, around brush piles, any type of place that you'd fish like a deep diving crankbait or a football head jig in the summertime. Is good for that. So an overview, guys, if you're fishing a swim bait like over 4 inches long, keep them in the summertime. They're going to work a lot better in the summertime for you. And your finesse swim baits like the little Hazendong shad and the little small Kitechs, they're going to be a lot better for the cold water techniques and the cleaner water. The bigger swim baits here, guys, you can catch a lot of fish on them in some off-colored water. Something like this would work really good like on any of the TVA lakes where maybe you've got 2 foot of visibility on there. It's a really good structure bait for that. But anyway, guys, that's just a few of them. There's a ton of different swim baits out there, but it's one lure category that you have got to get comfortable with. I mean, you've got to get good with it. There's, if you're a live scoper, this is going to be your bread and butter. The swim bait is what all the spotlighters use all the time, but you don't have to be spotlighting to catch fish on them. You can just catch fish, regular bass fishing with them too. But it is without a doubt one of the top 3 lure categories out there as far as catching numbers of fish and quality fish. So definitely pick some up there. Like I said, links in the description where you guys can get them at, and hope it works for y'all. See y'all next time.